I actually have a confession to make. 2 months ago, I almost ruined one of my closest friendships over an iCloud account. My friend and I are part of a club at school where I'm the president and she's the secretary. And one fateful afternoon, she texted me asking why was I taking over her responsibilities. I responded by telling her that she's being unreliable, and anytime I ask for help, she never responds. She insisted she never got the text asking. I responded by accusing her of misleading me and of being flaky. We didn't speak again for a week. The heartbreaking part is that she hadn't misled me at all. Her iCloud account really had been broken. I had almost ruined a friendship over a miscommunication that could have been dealt with if I had just asked. If I had just dealt with the issue rather than dealing with her. In fact, I was so focused on proving I was right that I stripped her of her dignity. And as I sat there feeling embarrassed and ashamed, I kept asking myself, why are my arguments so out of control? After a lot of contemplation, I realized it's because I was silently choking on the differences I have with the people around me. You see, there's an invisible force in the world, turning neighbors into enemies, disagreements into hatred, and breaking down the communication we need to solve complex social and political issues. Polarization is the name of the game, and it is preventing everyday individuals from experiencing the full richness and potential of argumentation and discussion, whether it be in their social or political lives. Now, I don't know if anyone's been on social media recently, but it truly feels like every single day it becomes more and more of an opinionated echo chamber. People are duking it out in the comments, and it feels like more and more often we see hatred arise on these platforms. This is namely due to the fact that the algorithm pushes us towards content that aligns with our pre-established opinions. The same is true for the news. According to CUNY 2025, quote, 50% of a person's news diet had to be composed of partisan-based content. Cable news outlets like Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN are all catering in varying degrees to these hardcore viewers, which leads to a silo effect in which people only consume media that aligns with their pre-established worldview. These news silos insulate viewers from opposing points of view, leaving them in a feedback loop that re-establishes their pre-existing partisan opinions. Unfortunately, we've seen these impacts manifest in our daily lives. Divorce rates have reached levels of 41%, and the reason behind more than half has been arguing too much, according to Wilkinson and Finkbeiner. And politically, well, if you look at the graphic above me, you'll see that the ideological divide between parties has risen by 40% since the 90s. And what's worse, opinions of the opposing party have become caustic. In fact, the Pew Research Center found that a whopping 83% of Democrats view Republicans as closed-minded. 62% of Republicans view Democrats as lazy. And perhaps most heartbreaking of all, upwards of 60% of each party views the other side as immoral. The results? Congress's efficiency has been at an all-time low, with only 34 bills passed in the past year, and bipartisanship down by 30% since 1989. As the common adage goes, two minds are greater than one. But we're not using them because we are being choked by our differences. We're unable to use differing opinions as a tool, and it's dividing our manpower into opposing factions. Polarized perspectives are preventing us from effectively and compassionately dealing with issues. But there's hope. Now, I'm gonna ask you to do something a little bit controversial, but I hope you'll participate if you're comfortable. Who in this room believes genocide is moral? Now raise your hand if you believe genocide is utterly, morally inconceivable. What I want you to notice here is that everyone in the room agreed that genocide is immoral. Certain things just aren't an argument. Now I'm going to present 3 options. And when I say go, I want you to raise your hand for the opinion you best align with. Option 1, abortion is a nuanced issue and I believe in a mixed solution. Option 2, abortion should be entirely restricted. And option 3, abortion should be entirely unrestricted. Now to preface, I recognize that this can be intimidating. Expressing opposing points of view and opinions generally is in our society. But I want to assure you that no one in this room is here to judge or tell you what to think. Actually, let's all take a quick oath. Right hands over hearts, please. And repeat after me. We solemnly pledge to be countercultural. We will not judge or hate differing opinions. Okay, we're ready to go. Who believes in option 1, nuanced abortion action? Great. Who believes in option 2, restricted abortion? And who believes in option 3, entirely unrestricted abortion? Here's the thing. We were mixed on abortion, unlike genocide. There are valid points to all sides of an argument, or else it wouldn't be an argument. Unfortunately, when we're faced with ambiguous ideas like these, we've come more often than not to hate one another. But what if I told you that every person in this room, regardless of their opinion, is on the same side? You see, when I look around today, I see a bunch of people who are passionate about the issue of abortion, but approach it differently. What if, instead of arguments being a zero-sum game of you versus me, they were us versus the problem? What if, instead of focusing our passion and energy into trying to prove other people wrong, we collectively combined that energy into finding a compromise solution? I want to use abortion as an example of how we do this. Forgive me for using any major stereotypes. In common media, a lot of quote-unquote pro-lifers are very concerned about fetal pain and mortality. A lot of pro-choicers are very concerned about maternal mortality. Those are both very noble things to fight for. But it's so easy in our culture for the pro-lifer to say, "You're just a baby killer," and for the pro-choicer to say, "You just want to see women die." But see, the problem here is, with this perspective, there's no path forward. There's just hatred. But let's imagine a different reality. One in which the pro-lifer said, "I understand that you're worried about maternal mortality. What can we do to remedy this issue?" And one in which the pro-choicer said, "I can see that you are so concerned about fetal pain and suffering, and I understand that. What can we do together to solve this problem?" Just like that, boom. We have 2 problems we can work on. We have a path forward with compromise and improvement. And it all came from reframing and looking at the issue rather than the person. In fact, it's been found that when we compromise, that fight with a spouse or a sibling becomes an opportunity to not only crush issues in their tracks, but to actually grow closer. In fact, studies by psychologists have found that couples who are skilled at problem solving and finding compromises tend to be more satisfied in their relationships. 67% of couples who regularly compromise report feeling extremely happy in their relationship, compared to only 33% of couples who rarely or never compromise. And once we can do this socially, in our own personal lives, we can do it politically and grow the movement to our community and beyond. Outside of conversing with compromise-based, issue-focused dialogue, this comes down to media diversity. Now, it's very easy, as I talked about earlier, to get sucked into an echo chamber of anger when listening to media on just one side. When looking at a variety of media sources, we gain more compassion and a more nuanced perspective on issues. I actually have a resource for you today. This media bias chart, Adfonts Media, allows us to establish the accuracy and biases present within media sources, allowing each and every one of us to be aware of the media we consume and diversify. I highly encourage you to check it out and use it as you peruse the news. As you all leave today and look around the room, I want you to remember, together we have the power to solve so much more than we do alone. Because the fact of the matter is, differences don't have to divide and weaken us. They can be a source of wisdom and strength. We just have to find the middle ground. So I encourage you today, embrace a versatility of media perspectives. And the next time you're faced with a disagreement, reframe. Don't let it be you versus your spouse, your teacher, or your friend, or that one random troll on the internet. Let it be you and them versus the issue, and truly embrace the possibilities of the middle rather than the confinement of the poles. We are all silently choking, and it is time that we get a breath of fresh air.